Good morning. Thank you for joining our Facebook Live this morning. It's nice to have you join us. My name's Jenny McCormack. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in Brackley in the centre of the UK. If you're joining me live, do pop on and say hi. I can't see who's joined unless you comment. That's if you want to, otherwise you can watch incognito. If you're watching us on replay or on YouTube, then welcome. Thank you for taking the time out to join us. I won't be able to respond to any comments that you make interactively, but I will check and answer any questions that you may have when this is posted. Hi Molly, thanks for joining us. So I am carrying on the Christmas theme. We were doing snow scenes yesterday and earlier in the week with the Freezing Fun penguin set. So today I thought I would just revisit this stamp set, which was available last Christmas and is still in the current catalogue. It was a really popular set, as you can tell by the state of the case. It's been very well used. It features 3 bauble designs and it has 2 matching punches that do each of these 2 designs, and it features a nice sprig of hand-drawn holly, 3 nice sentiments, some useful speckles and a pretty border design. For today's card I'm going to be using the holly, but what I wanted to show you is our alphabet set. So this is called the Playful Alphabet. Now this is a die set. It does require a die cutting machine. Oh, morning everybody. Morning Steffi. Lovely to have you join us. So it's called Playful Alphabet Dies. It's £32 and it features alphabet and numbers and also some additional symbols. What I like about this is it's perfect size for card making, because this is the size of the characters. So they're approximately about an inch tall. They do vary depending on which character you've got. And what I'm going to do is show you how to use our foam adhesive to pop them up to make them look more detailed. So as you can see, I've chosen the word joy for today because I'm going to make a small square card featuring the holly. So while I'm here, I might as well do this first. So this is the Playful Alphabet set. Let me move this out of the way. So I hope that's clear for you to see. Let me just double check. Morning Pauline and Carol with an E. Lovely to have you join us, Carol. So what I want to do is I want to cut out joy on some real red card, because this is going to be my card base for the card itself. And so basically what I would normally do is cut out the letters J-O-Y like so, and I've just chosen that because it's a small card, but obviously you could do anything. You could do somebody's name, you could do initials, you could do holly because I'm going to use the holly. Lots of variations. One of the nice things about this set is that you get multiples of some of the characters. So you get, for example, 2 L's, 2 N's. So if I'm spelling Jenny, then I can do it in one go. So 2 O's, 2 E's, 2 A's, etc. So really, they've really thought about that. Most alphabets, and certainly all the ones we've had in the past, have just had one of each character. But this is much more sense. So I would normally just cut that out and then adhere that with glue. But what I'm going to do, because I want this to stand out, is I'm going to use some of our self-adhesive foam sheets. So this is like a very large sheet of dimensionals. It comes about 4.5 inches square, the same as a sheet of dimensionals, and it's double-sided. So what I'm going to do is peel the backing off, and this is an offcut. in case you're wondering. So I'm going to peel that off and stick it on the reverse. To save card, I'm just going to cut around here. As you can see, this was an off-cut of card as well as an off-cut of foam sheets. Throw that little bit away. This is how the sheets come to you. They come as a pack of 6, I seem to remember. Yep, because we featured it in the class at the weekend. And so you get these lovely large sheets that you can just cut up into any size. So what I'm going to do is put my letters on the front and run it through the die cutting machine. Oops. Okay, and it will go through absolutely no problem. So I'll just show you that, because some people find it hard to believe that this whole sandwich will go through. So let me bring the die cutting machine up. Morning, Jeanette. You're fine. You're allowed to be late. So I apologise that this is rather in your way, but let's give this a go. So let me just see what you can see. Yeah, that should do the job. So I'm going to place my piece of card at an angle just to help the whole thing go through the machine. It's always kinder if you can do it at an angle. And you want to, I'm just going to lift this blind up to give it a bit more light. I'm going to pop my characters on. Now if you're clever, or take your time, it's not really clever, it's just taking your time, and you line these up, you can use the offcuts for another card. Okay, alternatively you can just put them on, you know, as close as you want, and you know, if you've got a lot of characters you can do it that way. Just going to pop this on the top here and wind it through like so. Oops. Or put it at an angle, but there we go. So it only needs one run through. Let me bring that out of the way. So there we have it, and that's cut through, if you can see that, right through the foam at the back. Okay, so what I can do is remove these like so, and then I've got my letters here. Now I'm not going to pop them out so I don't lose them in the meantime. Obviously the circle in the centre will come out. So what you can do, actually, I can pop them out, just make sure I don't lose the backing. So there we go. So it's a really nice bold set of characters now. And there's my J. If we push them through to the back, you won't lose the self-adhesive backing. So there I've got my joy. Okay, and you could use this one if you kept the centerpiece like that. Obviously this is slightly wonky because I was just using an offcut of card, but you could then create another card using that. So I would tidy that up a little bit. So it's entirely up to you. That would get 2 out of 1, for example. And one of the nice things about this is that they have printed the letters on the backing sheet, and it's covered in adhesive, so you know exactly where those characters go, like so. So with any luck you won't lose any. For those of you who know me, you know that I'm always losing dies. I've got 2 missing at the moment. Okay, so that's going to be my joy. Let me pop that to one side. So that's the Playful Alphabet set. Okay, let's do a little bit of stamping and put this card together. So I've got some Whisper White standard card. I'm going to use Real Red for my layer underneath, and this is cut to 9.9 centimeters by 9.9, and that means you can get 3 out of a UK A4 card. And then this is 9.2 by 9.2, so quite a tight layer. You could make it slightly smaller. Here is my holly stamp. So what I'm going to do, and for those of you that joined me Coffee and Card or classes last year, you'll probably recognise this design, which is very simple. Stamping the holly in 2 corners, like so. For this size of card, you can get 4 in, but it's just, I feel it's a little bit cramped. But if you had a 4-inch or 4.5-inch card, you could do all 4. And then what I've done in the past is I stamped the sentiment in the middle, and it's a lovely sentiment because we've got deck the halls with boughs of holly, and then inside, and be jolly this season. But what we're going to do when I've done the colouring in is we're going to add our letters in the middle, like so, obviously straight. Okay, so I'm just going to do some colouring in with my blends pens, and I've realised that I haven't replaced any blends pens since, well, at least the beginning of the year. So I've got Real Red, Light and Dark, and I've got Mossy Meadow, Light and Dark. So let's do the leaves first. So I can take the dark Mossy Meadow just along this vein centre line, and I'm going to do this end and then the other end, like so. You could, there's lots of other ways you can colour this in. You could use watercolours, and then I'm going to use light Mossy Meadow to colour this in. Now we have lots of greens that would work for holly in our blends pens, and my favourite for holly is Old Olive. But when I went to check my pens, there was ink in it, but not a huge amount. So I've switched to Mossy Meadow, and I'll be ordering some replacement Old Olives. I have a lot of Granny Apple Green pens. That's one of the popular ones, but it was just too light for the holly, in my opinion. So just going to bring this one in here. It certainly feels somewhat more autumnal here today. I am still wearing a summer dress, but I do have my fleece on. So, not quite sure if that should be I think that is part of the holly there, like so. Okay, and then for the holly berries themselves, it doesn't really matter which are the Real Red. I'm not going to do much shading, but what I found was if you do a circle around the little dot there for the tip of the berry, like so, so you get a little bit of white left. It makes it look quite a little bit more realistic. And I prefer to do the circle round it rather than try and leave a little gap, because if I leave a little gap of white, it basically gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So add that little bit in there. Okay, so I'll just do the same on the other side. Hi Babsy. Hi Jane. TV has Christmas films. Oh, yes, I think I saw that. Yes, I do like Christmas films, but maybe not quite this early. Okay, so circling round there. And obviously this could be any corner design, it doesn't have to be holly. This would be nice for a birthday card if you had a floral design in each corner and the person's name in the centre. So try and you know, imagine beyond what I'm showing you and put it to some use with things that you have already. Okay. So just literally going to drop that. Now I've stamped this in early espresso. For those of you that know me, you'll know why that is. There we go. So that's just a rough, I could do around the edges as well, but I don't want to bore you completely watching me just colour this in with no, you know, it's not particular what's the word? I'm not doing it as a colouring techniques class. It's really fun to colour in these baubles though, so you might see me do those tomorrow. Okay. So you can tell that this pen is beginning to run out of ink just because you don't get the full coverage. It just doesn't soak in quite as quick. So they're on my order. Voila. There we go. So I'm just doing a little bit more blending over that centre line there, and obviously you could do some darker areas here behind the holly berries. There we go. That will do. It'll do for my purposes. And then I have the word joy, so all I've got to decide is how to position that. That feels about right for the card in terms of the angle. And I chose joy because I wasn't sure it was going to fit, but holly would have been a good choice, wouldn't it? Okay, so to get these straight, what I'm going to do is either you can just draw a line with a pencil, or you can use a little bit of washi tape if you have some. I'm just going to grab some washi tape. I can find the end. Let me find another one. It's right at the end of it. I think I'm running out of all of my washi tape. It's funny, isn't it, how these things come and go. We had a lot of washi tape at one time. Let me try another one. Right, this is just so I can line up the characters really. There we go. Now what you want to do is get rid of some of the tackiness on the tape, because you don't want it to tear your card when you remove it. Okay, so this is very slightly tacky now. So this is my, just by looking at those holly leaves, that's my centre line. Okay, so I'm going to bring it down to about here, and I'm just doing that by eye basically. I'm just going to put this on there temporarily just to have a look and see. Could come down very slightly, I don't know. No, I'm going to stick with that as it is. So I'm going to put the O in the middle and then space the other two characters out. Obviously with this one I've got a lot of space to play with. If you had a long name, then you just need to be a little bit more considerate as to how you do your spaces. Going to have this here. So I've taken the backing off and I've just lightly placed it down so that I do have the chance to lift it up if I need to. So now the letters are, some of them are different sizes. As you can see, it's almost like a capital J here, which is quite handy. Yep, I'm happy with that. And then just carefully peel away your washi tape. There we go. And that is going to go onto this set here. And what I might add are some of these little dots here for a little bit of interest, because it looks a little bit bare. I was worried about it being too cluttered. So what I could have done, if I did this again, I'd make this layer smaller so that the holly came in, and it would then frame, using these two pieces, it would frame the joy. So I'm just going to use a little bit of real red for that. Hi Verity! Early espresso! How did you guess? Okay, so here's my real red. Just get a scrap. Yeah. So you want to be very light with these small little stamps so that you don't catch the edges. So just a light touch both in the ink and on your card. Like so. There we go. Just lift it a little bit, fills in that gap. Okay, so all that's left is for me to pop that onto there and pop an inner. I'm going to be able to use the seal because my letters are in the centre. If you had a lot more bulk around the edges, I would definitely use wet glue and not the seal. Only because you can't get over these, it doesn't like going over the humps. Right, so this is quite a tight fit. There we go, just give it a moment before you place it down. There we go. And then for the inner, I'm just going to put a Happy Christmas message and a single piece of holly on the inside. So is there anybody, I know Verity wasn't with us yesterday. Did you want to see the snow scenes? Oh, and Steffi wasn't with us yesterday either. So let's put in, I'm just going to put this yeah, I'll put this Merry Christmas in. It's a nice stamp because it's a block stamp, so it's sort of reverse. It stamps the outside and leaves the sentiment. Let's have a look and see. I just want to try this with a piece of scrap first. That will do. This is on thick Whisper White, so it has a different, has a more textured surface. It'll work perfectly on here. There we go. Oh, I've got a hair on the end. Just there. You see it's just on the left hand side. But I'm going to let that, I'll let, because it will annoy me. I could, what I will do is cut that out and use it on something else. Or I could cut it out. Let me try that again, make sure that hair has disappeared. Let's try this first. That's better. And let me restamp my holly. And of course you could use your Wink of Stella glitter pen on your berries. That looked really nice, just to make it look like they're glistening in the winter sun. There we go. Just going to colour that in really quickly. I use dark real red. As I say, just do a circle around the little dot. Just gives it a little bit of light and shade, like so. I'm trying to cut my Facebook Lives down a little bit, so it's 10:30, so that's really all I want to be. Otherwise it's just a bit too long. Although I know you could speed it up, couldn't you, when you're watching it back again, especially on YouTube. Right, just do this really quickly, and this will go on the inside. If you wanted a quicker way to colour these in, I would recommend watercolour, because you can cover a wider area. But if you did that, make sure you're using a watercolour card. So you could either use a watercolour paper, or even better, in my opinion, is our shimmer white card, because not only does it take the water, but you also have a shimmery effect to it. Say this definitely needs replacing, as it's just needs a bit more coverage, but for my purposes it will do today. So I don't know how everybody is doing with their Christmas cards. Those of you that have made a start, those of you that were in my class in a box this month, which is my online class, we had a whole stack of Christmas cards. So I'm well ahead of the game for once. Okay, there we go. And I think I'm just going to add a little bit of dots on. Dorothy says yes please. Okay, I will do that. So again, just a light touch, almost, you know, just making contact. You don't want any pressure on there. There we go. Pop that in and I'll just grab our cards from the last couple of days. There we go. There we go. There we have it. The first of our holly cards. So, oh, I've got a squeaky door. Okay, let me just show you the cards that we've made over the last few days. So these are using the Freezing Fun stamp set and dies. So we've used a die across the centre, and that has a matching card somewhere here. So that's the other half. I've just switched the halves around. And then we used the dies to create more layers and die cut the characters out. Then we did some penny spinner cards. It's difficult to show you this way round, where the seal and the characters spin. There's another one here. So I've done the layers, I've done the snowballs with the felt, okay, using our felt sheet, and you can see him spinning. And then yesterday, something I've been meaning to do was to put the snow layers through an embossing folder so that you've got the effect of the snow lying in different directions. So that's how that one came about, and having a great snowball fight. And then finally using the evergreen embossing folder with that snow idea, just to make a really simple Christmas card. Literally the only stamping was the Peace and Happiness, which is from Itty Bitty Christmas, and then just using that fantastic background just from the embossing folder. So there we go, that's what we've been up to this week. So quite a different look from there to there. But of course the other thing I should add is probably a little bit of bling, and in fact I have got some red gems, so I'm going to pop a couple of red gems on there to finish it off. Okay, so any questions for me? It's very modern, yes. Oh, bless you, Jeanette. Perfect. Thanks, Carol. Yeah, so the videos from yesterday feature the scenes with this on. So this one and the Peace one were done yesterday. So you can find that on yesterday's Facebook Live and also on YouTube. Okay. So, yeah, thank you so much. So square cards are really useful, especially this size, because you can get 3 from an A4 sheet. The only downside is that Stampin' Up don't provide square envelopes, so you could make your own. If you had some old Christmas papers, that would work, or I sourced them from a local envelope company actually here in Brackley, and you can buy them literally in, you know, 10, 20, 500, 1,000, whatever. If anybody needs contact details of them, I'm more than happy to help you. Okay, thank you so much for watching me today. I will be back tomorrow, Thursday at 7 p.m. for our next crafting session. If you've got any queries or you want to order anything, just message me or comment and I'm more than happy to help you. Thank you so much. Stay safe, look after each other, look after yourselves, and I hope you can keep crafting. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.